she is. Dad, you've got to do something.
But bold moves are no longer my forte.
She could get hurt.
Oh, what do I do? What do I do?
Wait, I know. Beer here.
Sure, Sonny.
This beer's delicious. I'm gonna save me way. Now let's get this show on the road.
Well said, Homer. Let's get this show on the road. This time, Johnny, the man, the myth, the legend, Popeye the Sailor Man, is the topic, and specifically, of course, media related to Popeye. And this time, it's all cartoons, with one or two maybe diversions from that. So I think this is a character that's near and dear to both our hearts.
Yep.
Going back, like when I was a kid, I remember the cartoons being on seemingly all the time. Maybe they were on every day at one point.
They were. At least in New Jersey, they sure as heck were.
Yeah. So definitely something I was into from a very young age. The movie came out when I was 3, and I remember it being on TV quite a bit in the 80s and 90s. Definitely, like when you think about, big cartoon characters of the 20th century, of course, you'll think of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Bugs Bunny. But Popeye, I mean, the sheer volume of Popeye cartoons in the 20th century is up there.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into it. The numbers are astounding.
Yes. But before we get into it, I felt that since we didn't cover Popeye on Imaginary Stories, maybe a little bit of groundwork here on the character, just a brief little thing, because I know people, the few fans we do have, the few listeners, viewers that we do have, may not be as knowledgeable as we are on the subject. So originally, the strip created by E.C. Seeger was Thimble Theater, the Thimble Theater. I believe this one I just put up on the screen is the first Thimble Theater strip from 1919, so a year after World War I ended. As you can see, they had the cast at the top. It was actually a theater, a strip, where Olive Oyl is playing the gal, and then you have other characters. Harold Hamgravy, who just becomes Ham Gravy, 2 words, and would be Olive Oyl's original boyfriend. He's in the strip right from the beginning. And, it was successful to an extent. It went for 10 years before introducing this man to the strip. January 17th, 1929. He appeared in the last panel of a daily strip where the story was. So the story, or the main stories revolved around the Oyl family, her mother, father, and she had a brother, Castor Oyl.
Yeah, the father was Coal Oil.
Okay, yeah. And I think it was just Nan, or was the mom, or
I think it was Nana Oil.
Nana.
As in banana oil? Nana oil.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. So, and Castor in particular was always into like get rich quick schemes. They would go on treasure hunts and all that stuff. And this was the same. Well, actually, I think he needed to hire a captain or a boat captain to take him to an island where I believe the objective was to win a big sum at a casino or break the bank at a casino. I could be getting my storylines confused. I have read all these original ones. I do have the first 4 volumes that Fantagraphics put out of the E.C. Seeger Popeyes, and we'll be talking about that later. Something like that. And Popeye was just meant to be, I think, a temporary character for a few weeks, but he ended up staying around and taking over the strip, although the strip still remained titled Thimble Theater for years.
Yeah, even after Seeger died, and mainly Bud Sagendorf took over the strip when it was fully Popeye, Olive, and they introduced, Wimpy and Sweet. There we go.
Yeah, here's the cast.
And Oscar, there's Castor, and But there was a whole bunch. In the movie, they include all the original characters. It's one of the neat things with the movie, but most of them got faded away in the strip and the cartoons. Yeah, it's but it stayed Thimble Theater even when it was just Popeye for quite some time.
Yeah. Ham Gravy sticks around for maybe a year or two, and then he just fades away. Castor Oil, at the beginning, him and Popeye are like partners. They have a detective agency. They open a bank at one point, but then by like 1932, Castor is pretty much gone, and then you get like slowly, Sweet Pea is introduced. Eugene the Jeep's introduced. At the point where I'm reading, it's 1934, and Poop Deck Pappy hasn't been introduced yet, and Eugene the Jeep hasn't been introduced yet, and just Alice Lagoon was just introduced in the ones I just the other day or a week or two ago. Wimpy was introduced quite early after Popeye, and yeah, it's really fun stuff. Gosh, I love it. The art is so great. Everything that Seeger could pack into the strip was just amazing. Like, it was so dense, and just still funny to this day. Great stuff. If you guys can find the original stuff. I'm not familiar at all with anything post Seeger. Seeger died young in 1938, and then, like you said, different people took over, and I'm not familiar with that at all, other than scanning or skimming over a few strips here and there.
Yeah, I grew up with all the Popeye cartoons, right? We were talking about, they were on the air constantly, but around the ages of 8 or 9, there we go.
And that's E.C. Seeger being held by a Popeye. Maybe it was for it was in New York, I think, or something.
Macy's Day Parade.
Maybe, yeah.
But for whatever reason, and I can't remember what it was, but we talked about it on the show. I was obsessed with comics, but also comic strips and reading about them. And I really got into reading about Popeye, because those collections were not available when I was a kid.
No, not the original. No.
But I got obsessed with anything I could get my hands on. And right around when the movie came out, there was a bit of Popeye mania. So they actually started printing some collections here and there, and a history of Popeye book. And I remember going to the bookstore with my mom, and she let me pick out all these books. And I remember the guy behind the counter going, "Well, someone went and saw Popeye, huh?" And I'd be like, no, I haven't, because I didn't see it. I had to see it on television, and we mentioned before being incredibly disappointed as like 11, whenever it was on TV, so 10, 11 years old, and just being like, what is this? It's dingy, it's dirty. I appreciate it more now because of all things, it's an Altman film, which is crazy. I'm like, Robert Altman did this? And you really tell, because all the characters do talk at the same time in the movie. And I think a lot of the movie, he really tries to emulate the speech patterns of the cartoons, whereas we'll talk about, the voice acting on the Popeye cartoons was secondary to the animation and the action. It wasn't like so much as like your Warner Brothers and stuff, where it was a lot of wordplay. It was just a lot of a lot of grunts under and all that. But I loved the strip, and when we talked about that great collection of 20th century newspaper strip books, I can't remember what they're called. And they have that one Popeye adventure, the Sea Hag, and they're going to the island, and you remember the name of the story?
Yeah, Plunder Island. I actually just read it in the Fantagraphics collection. It was a Sunday strip. So in that Smithsonian book, it's all in black and white. So I have read it in the original color.
Oh wow!
And it's really good. And for you, speaking of Altman, like he was kind of the perfect director as far as he loved having like the large ensemble casts. But the production was just a disaster. I did listen to a podcast on the making of it. I can't remember the particulars right now, but it was a very difficult shoot, and it was filmed in Malta. I've been to the actual Popeye village. that because my mother-in-law lived in Malta for a decade, and it's still intact. It's a tourist attraction, but it was funny.
That's
We
so
went
cool.
there. There was hardly anybody there, but I think it was like a weekday morning or something. But we had the place to ourselves basically. Yeah, cool. I've got to have pictures, or Julia would have pictures somewhere. I'll try and find them and put them up or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
But go back to the strip. It's one of those things. It's not the only time it's happened. And you see it a lot. It's when an artist starts a strip or a TV show, but let's just stick with comic strips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've got their idea, and a throwaway character ends up becoming the character.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of. And look at Bloom County. Bloom County was around for years before they introduced Opus. And Opus was going to be a throwaway joke character. And Opus became the center of the strip, for its remaining years to this day, obviously.
Yeah.
Snoopy.
Yeah, Snoopy would be one.
Is a great example of it as well. There's many, many others, but it's usually, that's when you get that accidental. No one goes out to create the character that's going to make them a millionaire. It's usually the accidental character when it comes to comic strips, generally.
Yeah. In comic books or superhero comics, like Punisher, Wolverine, they would count. Lobo, like all those violent ones, all started as just this is the villain of the month, and then they became a phenomenon. So it's great how when it happens organically, and there's like a groundswell from the fans and stuff, and it's not forced. It's just and it's really amazing how. But Seagar must have just had something in Popeye that just it clicked, and he's like, I want to do this guy for the rest of my life or whatever, just every day. I should have did a little bit more research on the history of the character. I know there was there supposedly was like a real life visual inspiration for Popeye.
Yeah, I read that while I was doing the research too, and I can't remember, some like ex-boxer definitely have one eye. Might have been a sailor at some point or another. I can't remember the name, obviously, but I came across the same bit of trivia. And again, it's like, this is what he says. We don't know if there's any truth to this whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So an iconic character, iconic comic strip, like one of
which continues to this day.
Yeah.
In some papers that still have comic strips, and you can get them online. I've heard the artist who does Popeye to this day, I've heard him on various podcasts.
Oh, really?
Talking about still working on Popeye, and apparently they're very good. I need to get around to checking them out.
Yeah, I mean, Dick Tracy's still going, and they're like, I've definitely read a lot from like 10 years ago, 12 years ago when they rebooted it, but nothing lately, but it's the same writer. It's just because like newspaper strips, it's just not a thing. You can, like Johnny said, get them online easily. There's different sites, they're all there, but it's just weird that it's I don't know, a step too far, a bridge too far, or whatever.
He's got an interesting story about working with King Features and what he is allowed to do and not allowed to do and stuff. I'll look it up another time and I'll get some more information out there. But look up current. If anyone's interested, look up current Popeye and find this guy on whatever podcast because he's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, Popeye. I mean, we were talking before we started recording how the licensing is still pretty prevalent in Canada anyway, or in BC. I don't know how widespread it is, but in Victoria, BC, where I used to live, there's a Popeye supplements store. It's in this old building on it's on Douglas Street, one of the main strips in Victoria. It's got a huge Popeye sign with Popeye the Sailor Man on it. It's been there for years. It was there when I moved there in 2005. It's still there today. I think there's others. There's definitely one in Chilliwack here. I just thought of it, but it's in a much smaller. It's in like a strip mall, but still, so I don't know.
You gotta get your picture taken in front of that sign.
It's funny. The last time I was in Victoria, I was staying at a hotel or a motel not too far from there, and I was going there because there was a breakfast place I wanted to go to. And as I was walking, I could see there was a big lineup, and I was like, "Oh no, is there a lineup for this breakfast place already?" But as I got closer, it was a lineup for the Popeyes supplements place. All these dude bros getting like huge bags of supplements. There must have been like something special about that day or some special release.
Oh, 2-for-1 off.
Yeah. So I went to the place and had breakfast, and they kept walking by with 4 bags. Like
there's got to be spinach in those supplements, right? That's got to be the Popeye secret.
But it was funny. It was so cliched. Like everyone waiting outside was all like with the shaved head on the side, tattoos, buff guys. Probably all have YouTube channels or whatever. But
I picture Popeyes on Rogan talking about his fucking supplements.
We got to retake Popeye. We got to reclaim Popeye in some way. So let's get going.
Andrew, that Andrew Tate's is a real scoundrel. Skibbity-bop-dee-do.
Yeah. Popeye is one of us. He's not one of them.
Yeah, he's a hero.
Yeah, he's a hero. So let's get into the cartoons, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
The first, I presume, we're going to be talking about is the Fleischer brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and the one we're going to talk about is, of course, the Sinbad the Sailor one.
Yes.
It's probably, I'd say, the most famous Popeye cartoon.
Okay.
Because really think about and we'll get into the numbers of how many Popeye cartoons there are. Very few of them I could tell you a plot. Well, I can tell you the general plot because they're all the exact same general plot. Much like your Caspers were the same plot, or your Baby Hueys were the same plot. And just like, how do we work around the basics of this plot? Eventually, he's going to eat the spinach and beat up Bluto. Okay, we know this. But this one, because it's one of the great Fleischer cartoons, it was also in the public domain.
Yeah, all the color ones.
When it was. And when it was on a lot too, and it's also because it's in the public domain, it was on tons and tons of videotapes, cartoon collections, and DVDs, and like the DVDs and like the dollar bin of like classic cartoons. Always had this cartoon, bar none. There's a diner out here called Gunther Tootie's, and it's a 50s themed diner. And you go in there and everything's decorated 50s. And on the TVs, they just are showing classic cartoons. And every time I've eaten in there, at some point, this pops up. There's some Betty Boops and this, and it always pops up. I remember seeing this over and over again as a kid. I think they even chopped it up for a highlight reel where it's like a more current Popeye talking about one of his old adventures, and it's highlights from this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. So the Fleischer cartoons, Popeye cartoons, were amongst the most popular of the 30s. And apparently, he said Paramount took control of their studio in 1941 and renamed it Famous Studios, and they fired the Fleischers.
Yes.
But they continued the production. They said that the theatrical Popeye cartoons began airing on TV in 1956, and the theatrical series was discontinued in 57. There were 231 short subject Popeyes that were broadcast on TV for years.
Wow.
Maybe not including the ones that were banned from TV that we watched that little special about.
Yes.
That we'll talk a little bit about those in a minute, because I'm with the guy who narrated that. I understand why you would pull all these fucking racist cartoons.
Yeah.
However, I think they should be preserved. So, like, honestly, so like the animation historians like us can like, well, I want to watch this. Look at this. Isn't this crazy? Like, I had an official release, a VHS that Warner Brothers put out in the late 90s of all the great Bugs Bunnies done by all of the great directors, and they include Bugs Bunny Nips the Nips.
Yeah.
On that one, which, I don't have to go into any other detail, except for the fact that, as racist as it is, it's actually very funny not the racist parts, the Bugs Bunny parts.
Right. Well, when you put it in like a historical framing, like you said, preserving. I think the Popeye ones from World War II, I think they're maybe on a DVD release. I'm not 100% sure about that.
I'm more interested in the World War II ones because it also falls under what were we doing as propaganda at the time, and I find that very interesting. There was many of them which are just Popeyes in the Wild West, and it's Native Americans, and it's insultingly racist.
Yeah.
There's not, I'm not talking about that so much, or even where he's in the jungle with natives, and it's very racist.
Yeah.
Now, one of the losses, though, is one of the other great Fleischers. Is what they talked about it. It was not Sinbad. It was the Alibaba and the 40 Thieves one.
Yeah.
That it's racist. It's super racist, but it's gorgeous because that's the thing. The copy that we watched on YouTube of this, I don't know if it was remastered or what. It looked like it must have been, but it's gorgeous. The colors just jump off the screen. The flowing animation style, which I was reading about this. The Fleischers were based out of New York, and everything else was being made in California. And there was a distinct difference between the California animation style and the New York animation style. And that Fleischer style you see where it's more flowing to the music and everything's sort of moving and very kinetic. That's quote unquote the New York style of animation of the day.
Cool.
Okay, so let's talk about the voice cast. The original Popeye, I believe he's in this one, was voiced by a man named Billy Costello. And apparently the success went to this guy's head right away. And they had to get rid of him because he's being a pain in the ass. And said Costello was not prepared to give up the fame associated with voicing Popeye. So he billed himself as the original voice of Popeye and did a tour of Europe, a stage tour of Europe, doing Popeye in the mid-30s, and made several recordings for Columbia, Decca, and the Rex labels, including on Popeye the Sailor Man, Blow the Man Down, Tiger Rag, and The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down, which to avoid copyright problems were only marketed overseas. So he was huge in Europe, in pre-war Europe.
Yeah.
This guy was doing stage shows doing Popeye songs.
Yeah, I see this. Yeah. And he was known as Red Pepper Sam in his early days as a vaudeville performer.
That's fantastic. Red Pepper Sam. But then he was replaced by a guy named Jack Mercer. And Jack Mercer basically became the voice of Popeye until he died in the mid 80s. The only times he was substituted for was in 1945, where he enlisted, and he served a year overseas in the war, and he's replaced by a guy named Floyd Buckley, a guy named Harry Welch, and Mae Questel, who did Olive. She did Popeye in a few of them as well. So historians believe the character really came into its own when Mercer became the voice artist, because Mercer was also one of the writers. So he wrote cartoons and did the voices. It said there was more flexible acting and emotion in the character. Now, Olive Oyl, played by a woman named Bonnie Poe, a woman named Margie Hines, but mainly a woman named Mae Questel. And she was originally the voice of Betty Boop. And she was brought in to play Olive. And the thing was, Popeye took over in popularity because A, everyone just loved Popeye, and B, the Hays Code put basically the kibosh on the Betty Boop cartoons. They were too suggestive.
Yeah. Very suggestive.
Yeah, no kidding.
But great. I mean, I've seen a bunch of them. Yeah. I love that pre-code stuff. That's so cool.
Oh, it's great. It says here that Questel voiced Olive until 1938, when Fleischer operations went to Florida. And so Hines, who was Mercer's wife, voiced the character until 1943. Paramount moved the studio back to New York the following year, and Questel resumed voice acting duties until 1957. So Bluto was played by three guys: William Pennell, Gus Wicke, and Jackson Beck. says William Pennell was the first to voice Bluto from 1933 to 1935. Gus Wiki is generally considered the most memorable voice actor by fans and historians. Said Wiki voiced Bluto until Fleischer left New York in 1938. Oh, his last work being in the voice of the Chief in the band cartoon Big Chief Ugga Mugga.
Sorry for laughing.
It's all right. It's all right. Several other actors were employed to voice Bluto over the years, but when Famous Productions took over studios and moved back to New York, Jackson Beck took over the role until 1962. Popeye got so popular in the mid-30s that he began to sell more tickets than Mickey Mouse.
Wow. That's incredible.
And he said that Popeye surpassed Mickey Mouse in the 30s as the most popular cartoon character at the movies.
Wow.
They started Popeye clubs to compete with the Mickey Mouse clubs that were forming all over the country at the time. So Mickey Mouse Club, yes, was a TV show in the 50s, but they were Mickey Mouse clubs dating back to the 30s. Says Popeye cartoons, including a sing-along special entitled "Let's Sing with Popeye."
Yes,
we watched the Follow the Bouncing Ball newsreel.
Yep.
10-cent membership club members were given a Popeye kazoo, a membership card, the chance to become elected as the club's Popeye or olive oil, and the opportunity to win other gifts. Polls taken by theater owners proved Popeye was more popular than Mickey, and he upheld that position for the rest of the decade.
Amazing.
It says in the late 50s, the original Popeye theatrical shorts began airing in TV markets and got huge ratings. King Feature Syndicate, which owned the rights to the Popeye character, did not earn any money from the syndication of the theatrical shorts. So in order to capitalize on Popeye's TV popularity, they hastily commissioned a new series of made-for-TV Popeye animated stories. We'll talk about that later.
Very hastily.
Yeah, boy, we'll get into that in a minute. But so that's the history in the 30s. That's just how big Popeye was.
That's crazy.
And I do remember seeing a black and white picture of the Popeye balloon in the Macy's Day Parade.
Yep. Me too. I've seen that. So I think for Sinbad, it is Mercer as the voice of Popeye.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, because this was made in 1936, and Costello's last Popeye cartoon was 1935. But for the sing-along with Popeye, that is Costello. And you can tell there's a definite difference in the voice between them.
And, did you pull that?
I have it. Yeah, I do have the last sing-along part as a drop.
Okay, before you drop it, let's see, because I know the song, and I knew the song before I watched this.
Okay.
And I can't remember where I learned it, but it was like, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, I'm Popeye the Sailor Man, I am what I am, and that's all what I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm one tough gazookas, what hates all palookas, what ain't on the ups and square. I biffs them and buffs them and always outroughs them, and none of them gets nowhere. If anyone dasses to risks me fisks, it's bop and it's wham, understand. So keep good behavior. That's where you're one lifesaver with Popeye the Sailor Man. And I don't know why I remember that and not like people's birthdays and shit.
It's more important. So, okay, I'll play the original voice of Popeye, Billy Costello.
Think I could do a stage tour of Europe?
Yeah. It's not too late to reinvent yourself, Johnny. Things in Europe are not so great. Maybe you're what they need to laugh again. Okay. This is sing along with Popeye.
Sing along with me, everybody. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye the Sailor Man. I am what I am, and that's all what I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm one tough kazooka, what hates all palooka, what hates on the ups.
This goes on for a long time.
Yeah. It's charted. In Europe it did.
Now if anyone dares to risk my fist, it's bop and it's wham, understand. So keep good behavior, it's your one lightsaber with Popeye the Sailor Man. Oh, I'm Popeye the
that just doesn't sound right.
You know, as fascism was descending all over Europe, there was one bright spot for those people, and that was Billy Costello on the stages of Europe in front of all the crowned heads of Europe, grunting through Popeye songs.
Man, yeah. I think Mercer was an upgrade in the voice department.
And again, he was a writer.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that you're a vaudeville, washed up vaudeville guy as vaudeville is dead, and you stumble into what could be huge for you, and you let it go to your head pretty quickly and get canned and have to tour Europe singing "The Merry-Go-Round Broke Down."
Yeah, I did look at. I think he lived to 1971. So
How bitter! I bet you he was the most bitter motherfucker in the world. Like he'd be watching the Thanksgiving Day parade. His grandkids be over, and the Popeye balloon go by, and he'd throw a fucking beer bottle through the TV screen, and there's a whole scene at his house.
Yeah, I don't think you read this before. From 1959 until his death, he managed a trailer park in San Jose, California.
I did read that. He was it was so he so he was throwing his beer bottle at the TV in his trailer park. That makes it. He managed the trailer park, to be fair.
Yes, he was the top dog at the trailer park. So, yeah,
he was Mr. Leahy, basically.
So yeah, this was a fun cartoon. I must have seen it before, of course.
Oh god, like I said, countless times I've seen this.
Yeah, the song that Bluto sings at the beginning was quite Sinbad, but yes, it's Bluto.
Well, that's one of the things. Bluto wasn't always Bluto.
Yeah,
sometimes he'd be like he was Alibaba. He's like Bluto's racially diverse sometimes, but it's always Bluto.
Yes, yeah, as Alibaba, yeah, Bluto and brown face. I do have the comeback, Popeye's comeback from the Sinbad cartoon here because this is like a classic prime example of a Popeye spinach comeback. Is this John Philip Sousa?
Yes.
Yes.
The only good music that was ever made, according to my late grandfather.
I do like this stuff. I have a CD of it.
Get up and fight. Give it to him, Popeye! Give him the twister punch!
The twister punch coming up. Hey.
And that last bit, it's a flag being raised with Bluto, a spinach flag.
Yeah, because Popeye's not doesn't belong to one country. He's only patriotic for one thing: spinach.
Yes.
And again, to get all nerdy, is the spinach shit with Popeye was more from the cartoon. Seeger's was he was strong because he rubbed a magic hen, and he could occasionally charge it up with spinach, and it happened occasionally. But that became the trope for the cartoon, and basically the most memorable things about the cartoon is when is Popeye going to get the spinach?
Yeah,
and as we see through all these, one of the great Popeye cartoon things was how the wind would turn into other things, or waves would turn into like jackhammers.
Right.
What you saw in Popeye's muscles each time was a gag.
Mm-hmm. Popeye would turn into a literal rocket, or whatever he needed to be as part of the comeback. Yeah, I've been reading the Seegers, like I said, and yeah, there's spinach was introduced at some point and it's used a bit, but it's not the used every time, like you said. But he's presented right from the beginning almost as like Superman, essentially.
Well, yes, I was about to say, what's fun about Popeye is he's already got superpowers.
Yeah.
But when he needs to take it up to 11.
Yeah.
Because
he shown
eats the spinach.
In various strips, he's shown being shot, 20 times, and there's the characters remark, well, he can't be killed, and he's still going, and another one, he eats poison, and it almost kills him, but it doesn't. Like, it kills everybody else, but not Popeye. And he's actually referenced as Superman, in the strip by the characters years before the Superman comic book.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a cool little essay in the old comic book history book called All in Color for a Dime. You may have heard of it. It's pretty famous.
Yeah.
So it's a collection of different essays about the different superheroes mostly, but there is an essay on Popeye about how he was the original superhero. And
there's a fair argument to be made.
Yeah. I think it was out there, but it was just another thing. It just, like the character, was just an organic progression. It wasn't something that was like, okay, I'm sitting down to create a superhero. It just happened that way. But it's cool. So let's get into the World War II era.
Yes, but before we do that, this is out there on YouTube. I watched it. Kelly, you should watch it later. So one of the most memorable, I mentioned about didn't remember most Popeyes. There was an exception. There was an old black and white Popeye that I remember catching as a little kid, probably on a Sunday or Sunday morning on Channel 5, that also showed Little Rascals and that sort of thing. And it was a live action. So it looked like a Little Rascals. So it's a little boy, and he's got like blonde hair, and he's wearing like a little white jumper. So he kind of looks like a sissy boy. And he's walking down the street. It's definitely like the Depression too. It looks like the Little Rascals. And he's got his Popeye comic book. And of course the comic book is gigantic. It's like the treasury size comics with just like Popeye's face on it. And a bully messes him up and knocks him down. And what's funny is the kids aren't actually talking. The voice actors are doing the talking for the kids. And it's the same Popeye mumble speak. And so Popeye then comes to life off the cover.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, little boy, let me show you what you got. Oh, got to stand up for yourself, Let me show you what I did in one of my pictures. And then opens up the comic, and they show highlights of 3 different black and white Popeye cartoons. And he's like, oh, so now you knows what's to do there. Like young man. And the kid gets his hands on some spinach. He opens up a can of spinach, and it's leafy like lettuce. And he eats the spinach. And they animate his arms, and I can't remember if there's TNT or whatever it is. And he runs up to the bullet and he punches him, and they do it live action. It looks amazing. Punches him, and the little kid goes flying up through the window of a 5-story building. And he sings the Popeye song as it ends. It blew my as a kid, because the mixture of live action and animation I'm trying to think, was this the first time I ever saw it?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't much of it. And what there wasn't on TV a lot. I might have been aware of Bedknobs and Broomsticks, possibly, but I can't even think of what else. Like I don't even know if I was aware that Gene Kelly had danced with Jerry or anything. And it blew my mind. Like, what is this? Like, I had to be 5 years old. I had to be 5 years old because we had spinach in a can.
Right.
And I've told the story before, and I went into the cupboard. It wasn't Popeye spinach. That would have been the best. And I got out I didn't know how to work a can opener, but I knew how to do the old fashioned ones. You used to open a beer with the ones you just pop thing. Where I popped that and I got it open enough, and Ew, it's slimy. And I grabbed some and I threw it in my mouth and immediately spewed it right out. And my mother walked in, "What the hell are you doing?" And then she thought it was funny. That's how much that affected me. I think that might have been was like, well, I'm officially a Popeye fan for the rest of my life. In 51 years, I'll be doing a YouTube show with my buddy about it.
Yeah, sampling spinach a lot safer than trying to jump off the roof of your house and be Superman. That's for sure.
Well, I wasn't a total idiot.
I didn't watch that. I'm ashamed that I didn't, but I'll get to it. So that was still in the 30s, right?
Yes.
Crazy. And it was just a one-time thing?
I don't think they ever did a live action one again, but I never saw it. I never saw it again in syndication. Because like I said, and we'll get to it, the old Popeyes were in syndication, but more often than not, it was the late 40s, 1950s. And with occasionally the Sinbad the Sailor and maybe something else. But World War II in general was avoided. Not even just the problematic ones. In general was avoided. And there wasn't a lot. They didn't show a lot of the black and white ones. That's why it blew my mind as a little kid. Like I said.
Right. Yeah. I don't recall seeing the black and white ones either. So World War II. Popeye joins the Navy. He abandons his original uniform for the Navy, all whites.
And I get it. And it's perfect. It's World War II. Of course, Popeye's going to join the Navy. That nothing makes more sense to do with a beloved American character at that time. However, then they decided, because it's easier to animate, to just leave him in the whites for until the mid 80s. And
no, to the late 70s. But
late 70s.
A long time. Yes.
Late 70s. And I was aware of the original look, and I preferred it. I loved the original look. I thought it looked so much cooler than the Navy outfit. And Bluto too, because Bluto eventually joins the Navy. That's the one I want to see. We'll talk about that in a second. But to me, the look we saw where he's facing off with Sinbad and that other still is like, that's Popeye. That's what Popeye looks like. It's what he's supposed to look like. This was supposed to be temporary,
Yeah, the war lasted a lot longer for Popeye.
Popeye and Bluto never got over the war.
I guess not.
Well, they just became lifers in the Navy. They figured, it's a steady paycheck.
So you want to give a bit of a brief rundown of the racist Popeye?
Oh, yeah, that's sure. Let's do that. So there were a number of Popeye fights Japanese sailors. And of course, the Japanese sailors have buck teeth and big glasses. I don't know if they're bow-legged like they did in the Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny nips the nips, and we're going to use this is what they were called. Don't get pennies in a knot.
The one that we watched, it was just in highlights on YouTube. It's called "You're a Sap, Mr. Jap."
They call him Mister.
Yeah,
he's Mr. Jap. And I got to admit it, a catchy song.
Yeah,
this song is catchy. I mean, I'll go. He goes, "You're a sap, Mr. Jap," and that's a fact, or something like that. I was like, okay,
no, they spent a bit of money on that. It was like a night, a full band.
I'm sure they wanted kids fucking singing that on the playground.
Yeah, and they probably did.
And again. So some Japanese sailors come up to Popeye and they say they want to make peace, and Popeye's like, "Oh, I love peace. It's a good idea." Ooh. And goes to sign a peace treaty. He's like, "Oh, the admiral's going to give me a big," and of course he gets fooled because Popeye is kind of naive at times because he's such a good-hearted man.
Yeah.
And then of course they keep trying to get one over on him, and that's how all of it starts. Someone takes advantage of Popeye's niceness. and then but he's tougher than shit. And then eventually he starts coming. Because there's some back and forth, and then there's the spinach. And I don't know if we saw when the spinach happened, but at the end, Popeye is looking out upon the devastation in the Pacific. Just boom, boom, just boats destroyed.
Single-handedly avenged Pearl Harbor.
He was, remember Pearl Harbor? Remember the Arizona? Oh, I lost a good friend on the Arizona. But the great animation was him taking the shells and punching the shells and sending them like that. Looks fucking cool. It looked good. That's some superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the band one that I must see is how Bluto joins the Navy, because I had never heard of this. And so the plot of it is Bluto is a fucking draft dodger.
Yeah.
Bluto is trying to avoid the draft, and he's doing crazy shit like, I'm going to jump out this window and break my legs or drop a piano on my head so I don't have to go to war. And when we were watching that little thing that guy put together about these banned cartoons, I'm like, oh, so was this banned because there's draft dodging in it? No, because then they somehow or another, like, they end up at an orphanage where there's a Japanese spy ring.
Oh God, yeah. Disguised as orphans.
Disguised as babies because they're tiny, I guess. And I think Hirohito or the Emperor shows up in this.
Of course.
And Popeye has to feed some spinach to Bluto, and the two of them, Bluto finally balls up and fucking they beat up those nasty Japanese. I was about to use a slur. Holy shit, I'm all fired up because the idea of Popeye and Bluto teaming up, that's the kind of thing that as a kid go, that's fucking cool. Yeah, just once.
Yeah. Side by side with Bluto.
Because that's why I got as a kid. Oh, they're both in the Navy, because Bluto might be a piece of shit, but he's still going to go serve his country in World War II. I mean, come on. He's not a total piece of shit. And apparently in this one, boy, he had to be really convinced. They had Bluto dodging the draft in a cartoon in the 40s.
Yeah.
That blows my mind. I must see this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but
there's
the
not
video
much else. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the video you're referencing from YouTube, it's a fan-made video of about 15 minutes in length that has all the clips. I'll link it in the
normally I can't stand fan-made videos because usually they stink. This I quite enjoyed. I quite enjoyed this.
Yeah, I know. I've come across, quite a few. Yeah, there's some stinkers. But no, this was well made. And yeah, it's a good
well, he's not trying to be funny.
Lesson. No,
he's not trying to be funny, or he's not trying to be judgmental. He's just these are the facts, ma'am. And at the end, he's like, and in my opinion, I feel that these should be preserved for animation history. And that's like the only opinion he gives throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. It's a good little history lesson for the World War II era Popeyes.
And the only other, this just occurred to me because there's not a ton we can say about the World War II ones because we can't see them. And even the ones really that don't have any racist bullshit in it. But during the war, there was a line of fighter planes that had Popeye painted on the side of them, like going like the punching. And I think I don't think it was Navy Popeye. I think it was OG Popeye. But I've seen pictures of it, and I'm like, that. Like, look, war is hell, but goddamn, that's cool.
Yeah,
I mean, goddamn, that's. I mean, yeah, the pinup girls on the side of the bombers, that's cool, but a bunch of fighter planes with fucking Popeye on the side, coming down. That swells my heart with patriotic pride, Kelly.
Yeah. Well, I have a little story. that's sort of connected to the plains. Last year, my wife and I, we went back to Alberta, or well, for me, it was back to Alberta, to Calgary for a visit. And we stayed with friends. And one day we went to a town called Nanton. It's just south of Calgary. And they have an aviation museum there. And they had these planes that were from World War II with the painted images on them. And, cool. There was a great section. It was like, oh, there's a lot of sexy looking ladies, nudity. But there was one, the funniest one was, and they weren't, they were pretty crudely, some of them were well done, but some of the drawing was crude. And one of the cruder ones was, it was a drawing of Uncle Sam with his pants pulled down, sticking out his butt, and a lineup of Hitler, Mussolini, and Hirohito coming to kiss his ass, like this is it's like, these are my terms, boys, or something like that. You have to come and kiss my ass.
You gotta fuck me good.
But it was hilarious. I think I must have taken a picture of that one.
That's awesome. Oh god, I love that sort of thing.
Yeah, so it's a cool little museum if anyone's ever in Nanton.
To me, one quick aside, my late Uncle George, he served with honors in World War II and didn't talk about it because those guys just didn't talk about their trauma. But he would say this. He's like, those Germans didn't know what they were getting. He was a very intelligent man, but he sounded like Billy Bob Thornton in Sling Blade.
Right.
Because he was a big 6'6" and a yard wide farmer. He was a smart guy. And he'd be like, well, them Nazis didn't know what they were getting into because they were all so organized and clean, and we were a bunch of crazy fucking Americans, dirty and unshaven. Right. And I'm like, painting Popeye on fucking planes and Uncle Sam. I mean, he was like that bit of American, like, hey, we're a little crazy, did like shake the Germans.
Yeah,
in his opinion.
That's understandable. Okay, so like you said, the cartoons went through the 50s to 1957.
Yes.
And then, like you said, there was the
dark days started.
The dark days definitely started. King Features wanted in on the money here.
Yep.
They were getting cut out by Paramount. And so they came up with their own very cheaply made Popeye cartoons that ran for 2 years or 3 years.
2 years, but okay.
Yeah.
First of all, seeing that might be like the best animated part of these Popeye cartoons is the intro.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you have the info, but there was apparently about 4 different production companies used.
Yes.
And some were better than others, and the cartoon we're going to talk about was from one of the lesser production companies. Apparently,
I didn't write down that they were. In my mind, they were all awful because as a kid, I hated these. I hated because
there was an article I came across an article online where he goes through the different production companies and their strengths and weaknesses and that. So
because the OGs, even if it was just the 50s ones, they were still on TV. Everything was in syndication. So it was the same as the Tom and Jerry's from around the same time, and they were even worse than those Tom and Jerry's that decided to get, I don't know, some weird sort of hep jazzy thing going on, but the animation became almost like stick figures almost. It was terrible. Right. And it was at the exact same time as these, but these were the ones I mentioned. Captain Noah's Magical Ark was a Philadelphia like kid show. I think it was on Sundays or Saturday afternoons. Much like your Bozos or what have you. It was Captain Noah, and he was like a riverboat captain, and his wife, Mrs. Noah, and it was on forever. And they would do arts and crafts, have guests show up and talk to the kids. I was never a huge fan of it. I thought it was kind of boring, but being also the time when, there's nothing else on, and there's Popeye, and they had Popeye cartoons, but only these. So, you're a kid, cartoon's a cartoon. There's nothing else on, and you're going to watch these. And I would see these, and I would just, so much I hated about them. Like, I recognized that the animation was bad. Like, it was bad. I'm 6, 7 years old. I'm like, this is bad because I'm seeing the other animation. But what really got me was what they did to Bluto. And we're going to talk about that right now because I finally doing some research. I was like, why did they change him? Why did they change his name? And why did he go from being muscular to obese? And I've got those answers, Kelly.
Yes, great.
So it says this series was produced using limited animation techniques, clearly, whose production values contrasted sharply to the theatrical shorts. They were made at a breakneck pace, 220 made for TV cartoons in 2 years.
That's so nuts.
That's bonkers. I mean, even at low quality, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They were just pumping these Kings. I mean, did King Features have fucking people working 24-hour shifts?
I don't know. Yeah, that was just a normal shift from back in those days.
It said, okay, so it says here, the reason why they changed Bluto to Brutus, said, get this, King Features was so focused on working these animators to death, they mistakenly believed that Paramount owned the rights to the name Bluto, but the character had been created for the comic strip, so they owned it. But due to that misunderstanding, they renamed him Brutus to avoid copyright infringement problems because they thought they were going to sue themselves.
Yeah, it's weird that just Bluto was the only one they thought they didn't own. But at that time, it would have been, I guess, hard to, verify or whatever. And
well, get this. Here's how they tried to cover their ass. Realizing their mistake, King Features began to promote Brutus as an entirely new character. His demeanor was altered slightly, and his physical appearance changed from being a muscular to slightly obese. In addition, his sailor uniform was replaced with a regular blue shirt and brown pants. In later years, in the comic strip brought back the original Bluto alongside Brutus, presenting them as brothers, which is pretty cool. I think that's kind of fun.
That's cool. But Bluto should have killed Brutus in combat or something. Just eliminate that chapter.
Killed his own brother? That's dark.
Well, Cain and Abel or something.
Okay.
Owen Hart and Bret Hart, that kind of feud.
Look at you slob.
Yeah. That's what I would have done if I
I couldn't tell you one thing about any of these. Oh, no, actually, there is one. There's one I remember. The Sea Hag, and we'll talk about this one in a second, but it was the Sea Hag. And there was like a love potion involved or a spell, and it went all crazy, and everyone was in love with the wrong people. And it just had this long extended sequence where Olive's going like, I love Popeye. And Alice the Goon is saying like, and Popeye's like, I love Alice the Goon. And everyone was saying like the wrong thing. And they just ran that joke over and over again for about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I love Alice the Goon is permanently tattooed on my cerebral cortex. But otherwise, I couldn't tell you one thing about any of these, except that as a little kid, I thought they stunk.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw these as a kid. I definitely saw the 50s when they went to color. I definitely saw those like you did. But these 60s ones, I don't think so. Definitely no memories. And I have memories, of course, of the 70s one we're going to be talking about. But these ones, no, not at all. Oh, and as a new feature this week and in following weeks, we're going to do a bathroom break. So please.
Oh, so just tell them that I got to take a piss.
Please be patient, and we will be right back. And as Johnny is away doing his thing, I'll play some music from a prior episode. The Traits doing Nobody Loves the Hulk, and I think going forward I'll be playing during these bathroom breaks songs, our favorite songs from previous episodes, and maybe we'll have a viewer vote eventually on which was the best. We'll do like a top 10. And so first up, the traits. Nobody loves the Hulk. We'll just get the chorus, and then we'll be right back. Nobody loves the Hulk. Nobody loves the Hulk. Nobody loves the Hulk.
That's so fucking funny.
All right.
Hulk flush.
Flush. That was quick, so I don't think the plunger was needed this time.
No, not yet.
That's good to know. So back to
hey, if you got to use a plunger after peeing, you got to go see your urologist.
Back to the 60s Popeye. So we watched one, and these are short, very short, thankfully.
Yes, they're very short.
It's 5-6 minutes, and the one we watched was called Sea Hagracy.
Sea Hagracy?
Is that,
which I don't understand what the joke is there, but
I didn't, and then I think it must have to do with piracy. Hagracy, piracy. That's the only thing.
Wants him,
yeah,
she wants him to. Yes, the Sea Hag wants to recruit Popeye to become a pirate with her. So
yes,
that's it. Boy, that is clumsy as fuck.
Yeah,
that's as clumsy as this fucking animation.
Yeah, no, it's not very obvious, but that must be what the pun was supposed to be. I don't know. The plot of this, it comes kind of from the Seeger Popeyes, where in the Plunder Island story that I just read, the Sea Hag and Wimpy have this kind of relationship based on Wimpy wanting, like, she promises him hamburgers, and of course that's all Wimpy cares about. And the panels.
He tries to resist. He tries to resist, but
well,
one too many hamburgers.
Yeah, in the original Seeger strip, when he's kissing the Sea Hag, he's thinking he's kissing a hamburger.
Yes, I remember those. Those are so great. So, yeah. But I did read. Here's the thing: I did read about these, and now I get it, because when I read this the other day, it baffled me. It said many of the plots for these 221 pieces of shit were taken directly from the Seeger strips. So I'm like, and I was like, how? And I'm like, oh, that's how. They just find that one idea and throw it in there. I get it now.
Yeah, not so much plots, but ideas that came up in the plots, in the stories, such as, like, because the Wimpy Sea Hag thing would be an ongoing,
right?
On again, off again relationship.
I always thought Popeye should eventually just fucking beat the shit out of Wimpy. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Popeye had, but like you said, he's a kind-hearted guy, likes mostly everybody. But yeah, Wimpy definitely tried your patience.
Although, going back to the Fleischer, the best running joke throughout it is they get onto that island and Wimpy immediately starts, like, slowly chasing a bird with his meat grinder.
Yeah, duck, actually.
It's a duck. But that joke pops up in and out in just the right places to, like, stop the action. Like, they're fighting and suddenly here comes Wimpy, and it never really pays off, but it's a fun gag.
Yeah, no, he's always got the meat grinder. It's like attached to, like he has a holster for it, basically, on his pants.
He can make a hamburger out of anything.
Yes, and that's in the Plunder Island strips too, where he wants to grind up the cow and all that because he's so desperate. Yeah. So this cartoon is got one highlight to it, and the sound clip is just named Spank because Popeye likey Spanky.
I knows it ain't right to smack a dame, but nothing says I can't spank one.
Yeah.
I knew you, dude. I knew you were gonna do that. The minute, I mean, I wrote down that line and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have to read. I know that Kelly's. I said to myself, I know Kelly's gonna pull that drop, and I know it's gonna have the stretching bit right after that. You did not disappoint, man. That was. I was like, I knew he's got. I know. God damn, that is so fucking funny. But look at that. Okay, besides Popeye about to smack that bony green ass. I mean, look at her face. It's like, ugh. But right here, you can see just how cheap this animation style is. Look at the art style of this compared to what we were looking at earlier. And I get it. Like all animation in the 60s, all that great animation produced by the movie studios was over. It was TV now, and it was being done on the cheap. But some stuff looked good. Those Hanna-Barbera, a lot of the Hanna-Barberas looked pretty decent. That Fantastic Four looked pretty fucking good, you know. But this stuff was as low rent as it got. It feels like to me. And this was maybe a little better than Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse, who I don't know if you've ever seen Courageous Cat and Minute Mouse.
I think so.
Bob Kane created it. It's a Batman spoof. Duh.
Oh my god!
It was on constantly when I was a very little kid, and we'll be watching that on this show eventually.
Yeah, well, the budgets for TV back then were just so low that
like even Underdog, I think Underdog looked better than this, and that was pretty on the cheap too.
Well, and there was just more of a soul to those cartoons, you know.
That's true, and amazing voice casts and like actually fun plots and some decent writing. Yeah,
it overcame the limitations of the animation. This, like Popeye in this, he's so lazy. He all he does is sit in his chair and read the newspaper the whole bloody cartoon.
He just Popeye
by himself.
Popeye's living a lonely life in a dingy house.
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is read Dear Abby. And the sea hag keeps saying, I want you to become a pirate with me, until he's forced to smack that ass.
Yeah.
And I don't even remember how it ends. But all I remember is that Wimpy sells them out in the beginning for hamburgers.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how it ends.
Yeah.
Popeye's just sitting back, smoking some weed and going to do the Sudoku. And this green bitch is getting all up in his business.
Yeah. So there's not much. We don't need to say any more about these cartoons. It's an
At least she's green here, though.
Yeah.
That's something we're going to talk about in a little bit that annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, the colors change. But even in this episode, I think her color, she was gray. She was like the Hulk, the early Hulk.
Yes,
she was
it
green,
was much
then
like
she's
so.
Gray, and then back to green.
I'll tell you this: when this one opens and it's her mansion or her castle, I mean, for a second I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Is this animation better than I remembered it? And then that was the only good shot in the entire thing. I'm like, oh no, it sucks.
We have money for one nice frame, and that's all.
That's it. That's the hook, you kids. The first thing you see looks good.
So King Features went really cheap then. So we go a while. I mean, the cartoons from the 40s and 50s would have been rerunning for
constantly
years and years. So it wasn't until the late 70s that they attempted a new version of Popeye. It was a King Features production with the exact same graphic at the beginning that hadn't changed in 20 years.
Yeah, but this was being done, if I'm not mistaken, by Hanna-Barbera.
Okay, so they just had the King Features as a whatever, because they were the owners.
They were the newspaper strip.
The newspaper strip.
Hanna-Barbera took over these. Now, this was where I was still watching a lot of Saturday morning cartoons. And I don't know if there was something else on or just not being aware or whatever, because at 9, I'm all about fucking Popeye. But I didn't watch this at all. And I'll tell you what, my 9-year-old snarky self would have fucking hated it.
See, I definitely saw these. Is immediately once I started watching this video, it all came back to me. The one part that I remembered the most was the little bumper in between skits where Popeye's skiing down the hill and then goes through the gate. That is something that
wow, that's crazy.
What a flashback. I haven't thought about that in decades, but yes.
That's so cool. That's so cool. It's cool. Like I had the one with the kid from the 1930s and you got this one. But again, 9 years old, I'm like, why wasn't I watching this? Because I was watching everything. It was Popeye at least. It's like maybe I saw, and you know what? It's possible that I saw a little of it and I went, I don't like this. I like old Popeyes from the 1950s because I was that 9-year-old.
Right. Well, no, it's understandable because these are not great either, but they were on for 5 years,
which is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I'm surprised you have no memory of it.
None. I was watching this for the first time and I'm going, like, I think the most is I remember seeing the ads for them, as we've talked about before in the comic books, the fold out in the middle. So I think I don't know what channel this was on. We were definitely one of those families that we didn't have a remote control. So I was like, well, this is the channel that's on. And I'm not going to get up and change it. I mean, what was maybe Flash Gordon was on another channel or Thundar the Barbarian or something, but I was not watching this Popeye show at all. But this is right before the movie coming out.
Yep.
Right. And when did the arcade game come out?
So was it an arcade game originally?
Yes.
Okay. Probably not until the early 80s then.
Yeah. There was a bit of Popeye mania in the early 80s.
Yeah, it must have been, right after the movie. I mean, but the graphics in the arcade game were pretty good for their
They were
time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was they looked like the Fleischer characters.
Yeah, it was very cartoony. It was very appealing. Anytime I saw it, I was a little too young.
It was hard too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was too young to be good at it. It was a difficult game. It looked so good. It was on Atari. It was on ColecoVision. It was on all the systems.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I had the Atari one, which looked like shit.
Atari one was basically like the barest minimalist.
Right, but you had to get
graphics.
To get strength, you had to collect Olive Oil's hearts. There was cans of spinach.
Yeah, there was a punching bag here
and there. Yeah. But I remember playing it in the arcade, being one of those, Mom, can I have a quarter? Or not even arcade. I remember it was when video games were so popular then, where every restaurant maybe had one or two, like in the front lobby by the cigarette machine.
Yeah.
And I remember the Popeye one at a place, and I was begging for a quarter, and I'm like, boom, I played in 10 seconds. I'm fucking done.
Yeah,
I'm like, because it was so hard.
Yeah, I think for me it was at Chuck E. Cheese in Calgary, which had a great collection of arcade games, but they were from 1982, 83, and they never got newer ones. But you couldn't find these ones anywhere else by like 1987.
That's awesome.
It was always cool to go there because they had the original Star Wars game, which was also difficult, but nowhere else had it. But yeah, they had Popeye.
Yeah, the Popeye game did not stick around in most arcades. It had its day. It got pulled.
Yeah. But definitely a fun thing. But that had to be like 81, 82, I would say, based on the graphics. But yeah, so look, late 70s, early 80s, a Popeye renaissance.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the show, because even though I wouldn't have liked it, I did my due diligence. Now, the one thing I think I remember this, seeing that they put him in his original outfit and being like, good, that's good.
Yes. It was a return to the original outfit.
It says here, let me see, on September 9th, 1978, the all-new Popeye Hour debuted on the CBS Saturday morning lineup. That's why I didn't watch the CBS shows. I watched ABC or NBC.
There you go.
Hour long. It was an hour long.
Yeah, I know.
An hour-long animated series produced by Hanna-Barbera, which tried its best to retain the style of the original comic strip. Well, I guess. Yes, his name's Bluto, and Popeye's wearing the right outfit. and this is what would have got me as a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
While complying with the prevailing content restrictions on violence, because there's no fighting in these Popeyes. This is the era of, there was a Tom and Jerry where Jerry wore a red bow tie and they held hands and were friends. And that was what these Saturday morning shows were like then. And I even recognized, like, well, this Popeye can't punch anybody. It's stupid. And this show also had public service announcements in it.
Yes, they
you
did.
Needs to be careful when you skin the streets. At 9, I thought that shit was lame.
It's so lame, but for irony purposes, it's the best part of the show, and it's the only clip that I took from this, this episode is the 2 PSAs, one about not eating sweets all the time and about the dangers of skateboarding.
Okay, here we go. Let's check these out.
It's a nice picnic, fellas, but this is all junk food. Too much sweet cake, too much candy, too many sugary drinks are a no-no. After a sensible meal, the Zoids is okay, but too much junk food will ruin your teeth.
Now he tells me.
Too much sweets a disaster, you'll lose your teeth faster, says Popeye the Sailor Man.
Okay, I got to start working on the VD one. Okay.
That's wearing your helmet along with your knee and elbow pads and shoes.
Like a poop.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot.
Shoes.
It's just a matter of
all the early
sense.
skateboarders never.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Never skateboard in the street, Popeye. Find a safe place to ride and you won't lose no hide, says Popeye the Sailor Man.
Oh, that's where I lost it with that rhyme.
Wrapping your penis is always the keenest, says Popeye the Sailor Man. That's the first thing I could come up with. And we forgot to talk about Popeye's 4 ugly nephews.
Yeah.
I can't remember it's Pipeye, Poopeye, Peepeye. Oh, he's the creepy one, Peepeye.
And here's another story from BC lately. Just recently in the news, this serial peeping Tom has been uncovered. Who's been going on. He's been on a rampage for years, and apparently 652 women have been affected by this monster over the years. But he was like he did everything. He did like old school peeping Tom, just in windows. He was doing camera photos. Anyway.
Did they catch him?
They caught him. Yeah, they finally caught him. But like, when I heard Peepeye, that was the first thing.
It was Operation Peepeye has come to a successful conclusion. I was like, boy, that poor family. So is it his brother's kids and his ugly brother, or is his ugly fucking sister?
Yeah, I'm wondering. Were these introduced in the post Seeger strips, the cousins?
They were never introduced. They were never in the strips. They were introduced for the cartoons in the 40s.
Right. Yeah, they were in the 40s cartoons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the voice cast here, because Mercer continued to voice Popeye, and we had Marilyn Schreffler as Olive, who we heard in that Thing Ring Do Your Thing cartoon as like the tomboy girl who knows Kelly. Who Benji is. Kelly. And Bluto is Alan Melvin. And once you know that it's Alan Melvin, you can't not hear it. And if the name doesn't ring a bell,
right?
Sam the Butcher on the Brady Bunch, Barney Hefner on Archie Bunker's Place.
Yeah.
He was on Sergeant Bilko 200 episodes. He was in everything, but I was never aware, because I was like, oh, he's that guy in every sitcom ever, including huge roles. But I had no idea he was a prolific voice artist as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't write it all down because we'd be here all day, but it's something like, holy shit, he was in everything. At the same time he was on fucking All in the Family or whatever, he was doing voice work as well. It's fascinating.
Magilla Gorilla.
He was Magilla Gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you listen to Bluto in this, you could hear it right
Oh,
away.
totally. I recognize. I didn't know it was Sam the Butcher, but I knew. Oh, I know this voice from something.
Yeah, and so it said this ran until September 81, then was cut to a half an hour and retitled the Popeye and Olive Comedy Show. And it was removed from the CBS lineup on September 83, right before Jack Mercer passed away.
Well, fittingly, that's when it ended. Yeah.
But it is wild to show you that. I'm like, yep, this thing was on CBS for the better part of 5 years. I love Popeye. I didn't watch it because I didn't watch CBS. The only thing I would watch on CBS was once everything else was done. CBS sometimes had other cartoons, like Fat Albert. Fat Albert was always like the last cartoon of the day on the Saturday morning lineup. The Flash Gordon cartoon, which just came up on Prime, Kelly, every episode.
Oh, really?
And I dipped into it the other day, and like we are definitely doing that Flash Gordon cartoon because it is sexy as I remember it was when I was a kid. I think I had my sexual awakening watching that show. It's bonkers.
Interesting. Even predating Alley Cat Dabra.
I had to be what, 10?
Yeah.
And I'm like Princess Allura, and I'm like, God damn, it's like heavy metal.
Was the sound in 1979?
You bet.
Johnny's.
Now, before we move on to the absolute worst Popeye cartoon I've ever seen in my life, this came up during my research. That during the time these were in production, CBS aired the Popeye Valentine's Day special, Sweethearts at Sea, on February 14th, 1979. And they must have rerun it at least one or maybe 2 more years, because I hadn't thought about this until I read that. Our first family dog that we got when I was a newborn was named Tippy, and Tippy died right around Valentine's Day when I was 11 or 10. I wasn't 10. I had to be 11. I was in the 5th grade. So 11. And it was a family thing. We had her on the couch and we all laid there and cried. And my dad took her out back to bury her. And what was on TV? The Popeye Valentine's Day special was on TV at the time. And I hadn't thought about that until I read that. I'm like, oh, holy shit. So Popeye's always been there for me.
Yeah.
And then as tears were flowing in my eyes at losing my dog that I'd had my entire life, I looked at that and went, the animation fucking sucks on this.
Yeah, what can you do? You have standards, Johnny. You can't let bad Popeye cartoons affect it. So let's do the last.
Let's do the bad Popeye cartoon. The Popeye returns briefly to CBS in 1987. I had no idea that this was this late. For Popeye and Son. Now, and there's Olive in her jazzercise outfit.
Yes, the aerobics craze of the 80s.
Popeye now is a wild and wacky guy in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
That's their kid, Popeye Jr., and apparently Sweet Pea, they kicked the fuck out now that he has he is, oh, this is me blood's child. It's the Britsk, Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
Sweet Pea's not in this.
I got me new family to take care of Sweet Peas.
We have a new family. Listen, you're 18 years old and you're still dressed up like a babeski. Because you remember in the comic strip and stuff, in the comics, because I had some of the comics from the 50s. Sweet Pea was still a baby, like in the red outfit, but he talked like an adult. Like he was having conversations with Popeye.
Right.
Like
Yeah. But you couldn't change the look.
Yeah, you couldn't change the look. It's crazy. He was one of those. He was one of those poor kids who ages real fast.
I do have the theme song to play.
Oh, God. How? Okay, please. Yes, go ahead.
Because it's wonderfully horrible.
They're going for a Beach Boys thing.
Yeah.
Chico, Chico.
Like father, like son.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?
Whether we are working or playing music, we're together in whatever we do.
Okay, that's enough.
That's enough. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it takes place in Sweet Haven.
Yeah,
and,
finally the named town.
So here's the voice cast of this, first of all. So Mercer had passed away. So for Popeye, they got who's now the legendary, at the time, at the beginning of his career, Maurice LaMarche, who's one of the greatest voice actors of the last 40 years. So Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, he's the Brain and Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, wow.
Everything on Futurama, just everything. Maurice LaMarche is one of the greatest in the business. He's they actually had him do the voice of Orson Welles in they dubbed his voice in for Orson Welles in Ed Wood, when Ed Wood meets the actor.
Yeah.
They dubbed in Maurice LaMarche doing he's the funniest Orson Welles impression of all time. That's the Brain, right? Anyway, that blew my mind too. I'm like, holy shit, Maurice LaMarche.
Yeah, he's Canadian too, I see.
And he'd been a stand-up. He was one of Sam Kinnison's guys, and he found his career in voice acting. Yeah. But he did Popeye, Poop Deck Pappy, Granny Popeye, Coal Oil. So that they're trying to bring in all the Thimble Theater shit in here, but you're not going to get 17-year-old Edgebeth on board at this point. I had no idea. When this is 87, I had assumed this was in like 82 or something. This is crazy. And of course, Alvin Melvin is Bluto and Wimpy. Don Messick, the legendary Don Messick, is Eugene the Jeep. Howard Morris is on this show. He's up again. Marilyn Scheffler plays Olive Oil. Lizzie Bluto. That's Bluto's wife.
Yes.
Because Bluto's married too and has his bully kid. She does all Tank. Yeah. And she does Nana Oil. Jeffrey Tambor does a voice on an episode of this fucking show. And the mayor of Sweet Haven, who we saw in this one, Rip Taylor.
Really?
I couldn't wait for the mayor to talk. I'm like, it's Rip Taylor. He's gonna be hello. No, he's just like, oh, thanks for doing a good job, Popeye. I'm like, really? Holy shit! Straight. You're not gonna be. You got Rip Taylor, and you don't have him fucking being Rip Taylor. Have the guy throw some. Was the animation too expensive to have him throw some confetti at some point? Frank Welker is on this show, and there's a character. Okay, one of Popeye Jr.'s buddies, the guy who's like cool, radical. Oh, he's like Woody. He might be Woody Wimpy for all I know.
I don't know. He was super annoying.
There's Woody. You know who did Woody's voice here?
Who?
Nancy Cartwright. This was, if you think about it, he's proto Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
The way he was talking, crazy. Don't have a cow, Popeye Jr.
Wow, that's a nice little bit of trivia.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? And so let's talk about there's two plots on this. Or do we want to talk about the plots on no, we don't need it. The plots
I know. I just realized we didn't even talk about the 70s one. But
well, no, because it was like, one is like a
carpenter.
One he's a carpenter, and they destroy him and Bluto destroy Olive's house.
Yeah,
and the other one is a treasure hunt episode, and maybe that
also with the sea hag.
And the sea hag is white now.
Yeah.
By the way, for some reason, I'm like, God, they whitewashed the sea hag, Kelly.
And and like it was so nonsensical. They get in the boat, and then suddenly they're in Egypt, then the sea hag is in Egypt, but she's also I think earlier was somewhere else, but they don't really explain how she got to Egypt, or it's the
She's
same.
magic, right?
I don't know. It just was, there was not very much attention.
I gotta
paid
be
to
honest. I
continuity.
fast forward through those and just watch the PSAs.
Yeah, well, I watched it all, and no, they were not good.
But I proposed a bet to see which of us could last the longest watching a half hour Popeye and Son.
Yeah.
And I got through the first one because there's two.
Yeah.
So Tank takes a driftwood mermaid that Junior finds on the beach. He trips over it while surfing here with his totally radical buddy. And it's cursed, and he gets to a fight with Popeye Jr. And when Popeye lays eyes on it, he's like, "Oh, let's come have it, Junior. Oh, I've run skin to that thing before. Oh, it's getting it up, too." And sure enough, there's like they're doing a cruise or something, and the sea hag comes and wants her fucking shit back. None of it really makes any sense because Bluto's like, "No, I want to keep it," and she's like, "It's mine." And Popeye Jr. has to eat some spinach and go, here's your fucking thing. And she leaves. And he's strong to the finish. It's terrible. This was more interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Popeye and Olive have a domestic fucking disturbance.
Yes. Yes.
Because she thinks he forgot their anniversary because he lost where he's like, "Oh, I lost where I hid your presents." And she's like, "You don't love me anymore." And the next shot is Popeye Jr. coming home, and you hear a ruckus going on in there. And I'm like, "Oh boy, this is dark." And she kicks Popeye out. Junior's pretty unfazed by this, so I guess this happens regularly. And he finds his dad, and they flash back to how they got married, and it's a bunch of wacky hijinks with Bluto keeps trying to stop it, but Bluto ends up accidentally getting married to Lizzie. He shanghais him into a marriage, and
totally.
And I wonder. I bet you she put I bet you she fucking put a pin through his rubbers. That's how we got Tank. She's a conniving lady. She's a Jezebel. And I lasted 15 minutes and 55 seconds into this episode of television before I had to fast forward. Did you?
Okay, so I won the bet. Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing. You win, man. Yep. You win, friend. That's when I like. Okay, I got to fast forward to the end, and we find out that Olive and Popeye originally got married on a garbage scow.
Yes. Yeah, it was stupid. There, what happens? Popeye and Bluto and Olive, they get shot into the sky, and for some reason, Popeye and Olive go to the garbage scow, and Bluto ends up in the wedding and gets shanghaied, like you said. Another thing that made no sense why they would go in two different directions. Whatever.
Well, okay. And then all throughout this, because one of Bluto's schemes is to steal Popeye's tux at the beginning, and Popeye like strips Wimpy down and wears Wimpy's, and Wimpy's pants are too big, obviously. So all throughout this episode, Popeye's running around with his pants around his ankles, wearing his underwear with anchors on them. Olive's running around like, your father's just gonna kill me, running around this. It's awful, but it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But what y'all need to know is that Junior also hates the taste of spinach, but he has inherited his father's superpowers, and when he eats the spinach, his arms mutate and his legs mutate into Popeye arms.
Yeah, borderline disturbing when it happens with Junior, the transformation. This wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm not gonna watch
it was.
Anymore.
It stunk.
It's better than 1978 Fantastic Four and better than 1978 Popeye, in my opinion, or at least the one we watched for the show.
I don't know. I'd prefer that 78 Popeye. That wasn't good. This just.
And this also shows this. Does this establish that Bluto is a surname, or was that established in a previous?
Yeah, I heard the same thing. It's like, I'll never trust a Bluto.
Yeah, exactly, a Bluto. I don't know.
So
if
maybe that's his last name.
Yeah. So what's his first name?
Brutus.
Brutus. Yeah, that would be Brutus. And then in Wimpy at the end, they show him he owns a burger restaurant, which
he's like Sam Malone.
You're right.
He
exactly.
beat his burger addiction, but now he owns a burger.
He's
burger
getting high on his own supply, so to speak. Or like you said, maybe not. He's kicked the burger addiction because that'd be the only.
What's he gonna do? He's like he's looking over his books, all sweating, going, I'd gladly pay me Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Oh yeah. So that's kind of the end of the story for Popeye in the 20th century, I believe. I think the next one wasn't until 2001.
Maybe I didn't even look,
but nobody cares.
A lot of video games. There's video games. Now that Popeye, the OG Popeye, is in the public domain, there's already a horror movie called Popeye the Slayer.
Oh, of course,
and there'll be a bunch. They just like what they did with Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. No, there really hasn't been much since the Popeye and Son thing. It's just just a couple of things.
Popeye is still a character. I think if you mention Popeye, there's still a lot of people who'll know who you're talking about. But I think we're really getting to a point within our just collective pop culture where more and more people are have never heard of Popeye. Yeah. Whereas when even 30 years ago, you'd think, oh, you've heard of Popeye. Everyone's heard of fucking Popeye.
Yeah,
it was one of those things. It was just like saying Peanuts. Well, Peanuts. Popeye was at that level. He was at Mickey Mouse. Like you say Mickey Mouse now, people still gonna know who Mickey Mouse was. Mm-hmm. Even though Popeye had gotten more popular and was so pervasive through most of a century. I think we might be at a point where a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, I never heard of Popeye.
Yeah. We're post Popeye.
We're in a post Popeye world. That's the goddamn problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the world went all to shit.
We need one tough palooka.
We need to bring these bad boys back.
Oh yeah.
They still exist.
They're tasty.
They're tasty candy sticks. I do have a package. Actually, that trip to Nanton, Alberta, I referenced. On that same day, I bought a pack of Popeye candy sticks.
Shouldn't they be pipes?
Yeah, I know Popeye never smoked cigarettes, but it's a
filthy habit.
I can remember occasionally in the 80s as a kid, we'd get a pack and we'd be like, look, I'm smoking.
There were two different kinds. There were the candy stick kind. There was the bubble gum kind that was wrapped in paper. And it was that, I think those were the ones that came with some confectioner's sugar in them. So you got one puff of smoke.
Yes. Yeah. I totally remember. So those were different than the candy cigarettes.
Yeah, but those were rare. The candy cigarettes, so you'd open it up and they were just sticks of candy.
Yeah, and they were usually broken in half. They were so flimsy. But no, we definitely had the ones that produced the puff of smoke. I have memories of that. That was where look, I'm smoking sort of thing. We were pretty cool. Yeah. So wow, Johnny, this was so fun.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like all these, even though the cartoons, the quality after the 30s declines precipitously, but this was a fun time.
But no, when I look back on like what was some of the most formative things in my life is Popeye. Popeye was everywhere.
Yeah.
For me being a kid, a cartoon kid, a TV watching kid, comic book kid, comic strip kid, but just Popeye was everywhere. He was an influence on me, and Popeye was a good influence because Popeye was a good guy.
Yeah.
And you could eat your fucking vegetables, and all that shit. So I never took him up on that.
Yeah, I wasn't very good with that as a kid.
Well, until I finally discovered a spinach dip in a pumpernickel loaf.
Yeah, that is.
And I tried that for the first time, and my arms went boom, 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 and fucking.
Spinach dip is awesome. And I guess we should briefly mention this.
Oh boy, let's talk about this.
Popeye and Pals. It was a New Orleans local kids show that started in 1957 and ran until God knows when. The one on YouTube Johnny found is from probably 1981, 82.
Something like this.
Hosted by this lady who was the daughter of the original host.
Yeah, right? So the daughter of the original. So I'm sure the original host probably had some charisma. and it fell to her to take over. She does not want to be there. Now, what's cool about the Popeye Club is I'm like, wow, New Orleans had a kids show where they'd fill the audience with basically there's 2 videos out there of Cub Scouts and brownies. And they'd show Popeye cartoons and they get to watch sit in a stand, much like the Howdy Doody show. And they have these great, big, colorful, like wooden cutouts of the Popeye characters. Like life, like quote unquote, life size, all around the studio. I'm like, oh, that looks fucking cool. And then you listen to this woman talking to these children. And at one point, she's like, what is your name? And what is your name? And then occasionally she tries some banter. And if it doesn't go her way, she gets visibly annoyed. At one point, she like corrects a child. Well, what is your last name? Well, it's Carol. Carol, you could be Carol anybody, couldn't you? What's your last name? And she's like, Carol Jones. Thank you. And your next name? And this girl's like, and then the next girl just says Jane, and she just moves on. And I'm like, what the fuck? She's not like this kid. But there's one kid. It's this brownie troop of little girls, and most of them are in their uniforms. And there's one girl all the way to the left on these little bleachers. And poor thing, she is definitely taller than all the other girls and larger than all the other girls. And when she gets her skinny Gene Rayburn match game microphone up to her, she's like, oh, well, you must be, I think something like, well, you must be in a different grade than these other girls. And she's like, no, this is my grade. Oh, are you older? Oh, I mean, she basically said, like, well, you're a big thing, aren't you? I'm like, it's like uncomfortable.
Oh,
and
this
so
is so fair.
I fucking loved it. I'm like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is a children's show. This woman is not good with children at all.
No, you couldn't watch
Popeye cartoons.
Yeah, you couldn't watch Popeye and Son. I couldn't watch this. It was immediately she made me feel uncomfortable. Just her presence. The kids. The whole thing is
she's got some droop eyes there, right? Hey.
And the whole thing is they're sponsored by Popeye's Chicken, so all the kids are eating chicken and soft drinks.
Okay, that's the, so you got these kids, they're eating fried chicken, and she's kind of like, you must be hungry, aren't you? Yes, you are. She's like shaming them for eating the chicken sometimes. Yeah. So we just, before we went on the air, we started looking this up. I'm like, wait, so what? I never knew there was an actual connection between Popeye the Sailor and Popeye's Chicken. So we looked it up, and the guy who created it, Popeye's Chicken, Alvin C. Copeland, claimed he named the stores after the fictional detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle from the French Connection, which naming your fried chicken place again inspired by a racist character.
Well, it was from Louisiana, so
even
us Canadians know that's a problem.
And at first you're kind of like, well, that sounds like bullshit. No, I love the French Connection. That's why I named my fried chicken place Popeyes, which came out a year before the chain was founded, and not Popeye the Sailor. However, the company's early brand became deeply tied to the cartoon star with its sponsorship of the Popeye and Pals children's show in New Orleans. And the character appeared on items from packaging to racing boats. The chain later acquired rights to use Popeye the Sailor for marketing and used this for 35 years. In late November 2012, AFC announced the mutual termination of their licensing contract with King Feature Syndicate, ending their association with the Popeye characters. And that's amazing. And I had no idea, because in New Jersey, when I lived up till 2006, we didn't have Popeyes. I've been out here for a while. I think when Popeyes first started, if they were still associated with Popeye the Sailor at all, it was not on any of the advertising. It was like, love that chicken at Popeyes, and the whole Southern thing going on.
Very, very much an earworm jingle. Chilliwack has a Popeyes. We were talking before we recorded. When I lived in Calgary, there was a Popeyes, not close to where I live, but I'm pretty sure they had the Popeye the Sailor Man branding, but I'm not 100% sure. And Maggie is saying, get this woman off the screen, and I agree. Let's do some KKK.
Hey, you know what?
Tony.
Pull up the plunger again because I got to go see who's at the door.
Okay, one more time.
Sorry.
And then
Yeah.
we'll get to KKK.
Okay.
And we're back.
Yeah, one of Dresden's friends just showed up and needed something out of a car. So
Okay. So let's do some KKK, shall we?
oh, of course. This is America, isn't it?
Yes.
What happened to this shit?
Yes, well, we're the 51st state, don't you know? So we're all
Oh,
Americans.
that's true.
today.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this because I have no Popeye memorabilia to share, and I'm curious to see what you have.
Okay. Well, I don't have a ton. I do have 5 of the Fantagraphics books, but I didn't want to just show you 5 Fantagraphics books. So I
Okay.
got creative. There's going to be something we've been alluding to on Mystery Titans Theater. It's come up on here. It's finally going to make its first appearance, but that's the main event. First, we're going back to the wonderful world of Mad Magazine.
Okay.
Again, I have to reference the trip to Alberta last year. I got this in Calgary. The same day I got the one with the original fold-in cover Mad at the same bookstore. So this is
amazing.
This is of course the 1980 movie parody, double feature movie issue. The second feature. It's actually a double cover. I don't know if they did. Yeah, I don't know if they did this too often. Altered States is the second half.
Oh, I was wondering. I didn't recognize what the reference was there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, also, I mean, when you talk about there's only one person to ever play a part, but Shelley Duvall as Olive Oil, it's like, yeah, who else?
Oh yeah, what perfect casting. Appropriately, the parody is Flop-Eye. What else could it be?
And it was a musical, and I love musicals, and I'll tell you, the songs in Popeye are terrible.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, the music, I guess, I don't know. It didn't have to be a musical. So I'm wondering why they thought.
No, because of the original Fleischer's ones were musicals
I
in
guess.
an own way, and I'm not against the idea. I think I'd love to see someone take a crack again at Popeye in the movies.
Yeah, oh for sure. I mean, it's never going to happen. It's like wishing for another attempt at Dick Tracy. It's just not in the cards, I don't think, unfortunately. Although the 100th anniversary, the 100th anniversary of both are coming up. Popeye 1929, so 2029, and Dick Tracy 2
When's
years
Dick
later.
Tracy in the public domain? So we're gonna have like Dick Tracy horror films.
Well, it should be. Yeah, is it 95 years? Is that the rule?
I'm not sure.
I think it is. So then that would be this year because 1931 was the first Dick Tracy strip. So that's 95 years. Yeah. So Mort Drucker does the art. Yeah, it's your typical Popeye. Although at the end it's got a great ending because the Popeye from the strip comes in and punches out Robin Williams.
Oh, you know what?
Popeye.
I think I've read that in a repeat because I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, me too. That's a very memorable panel there.
Well, the one thing about the movie I'll give it is the casting I think is great, like from head to toe, and the last 10-15 minutes where it's just a giant live action Popeye cartoon with all the characters in the lagoon with the everything's like, oh, this is a Popeye cartoon. It's brilliant. That is brilliant, but everything that leads up to that is rough.
Yes, exactly. They just didn't have enough for a full length movie. It's really a disappointing attempt. But
there's no more annoying scene in cinema history than when Popeye and Poop Deck Pappy first meet towards the end of the movie and they're arguing with each other, and it's Ray Walston and Robin Williams going back and forth, and they're both doing the voice, and it's loud and obnoxious. It's like nails on a chalkboard for what feels like 15 minutes.
Anyway, it's a shame that it turned out that way. But I am looking for a copy of it on DVD just because I'm looking for the.
I want to watch it. I'll watch it tonight.
I haven't watched it since it was on TV whenever in the 90s that I last caught it. But I've been kind of on the lookout for comic strip movies. So I have Annie, I have Dick Tracy, of course. And if I come across a Popeye somewhere, I'll definitely get it. So these are.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this is Volume 4, the Fantagraphics collection. I'm currently reading this one. It has Plunder Island in it.
Now, were they in color? You say?
Well, it's both. It's got the Sundays and the daily strips.
Okay, in the Sundays, was the Sea Hag green then?
No, she was not green. Or at least this is the original coloring. Yeah, so the green was just.
Oh, so Popeye and Son and them were going back to the original Sea Hag.
The original, yeah.
We don't want any of that woke green Sea Hag bullshit. We want white Sea Hag.
Yeah. So no. And here's what I was talking about: the kissing, wimpy kissing.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I've read
sea
this.
hag.
Oh, it looks great in color though.
Yeah, and thinking of the hamburger when he's kissing her and basically seduces her. Very fun stuff. The daily strips.
Wimpy fucks for burgers.
Oh well, you're foreshadowing what I'm maybe gonna show next. There's the daily strip, 6 panels each.
That's different.
Because they had more space. Like the newspapers were larger back then.
Oh, have you ever seen one of my favorite things I ever got at an auction? Like I mentioned, my dad's auctions, right? And there was just a big box of old Sunday newspapers from the 30s. And no one even wanted to bid on it. They just gave it to me. And it's falling apart. But the Sunday papers, the Sunday funnies were an inch or more thick.
Yeah.
It was giant. It was like you folded it out and it was like, oh, this is an entire day.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was like 48 pages and as thick as the phone book every fucking Sunday.
Yeah, because there were so many strips, and it was in the days before TV, before the internet, of course. I mean, this was your main source of entertainment, daily entertainment.
Yeah, I remember it had the one I can think of because I mean it was falling apart in my hands, but I managed to hold on to it for a long time. It had a bunch of Buck Rogers and Winnie the Breadwinner, something like that. I remember it. This is smack out of the Depression.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. Yeah, those are not easy to come by these days, of course.
Oh, like I said, this was I couldn't believe it. Just it was in this guy's attic forever, and then I'm just sitting there on a front lawn trying to read it without it disintegrating in my hands.
Yeah, and speaking of Mad Magazine, one of the Holy Grail Mads I'm looking for, it's I think the worst from Mad #4, and I think it's from 1961, and it comes with a bonus Sunday section of parody comic strip parodies.
I think I've seen those.
It's very hard to find with the bonus section intact. And if you do, you're looking at $100 at least for a copy. So that'll be something I may treat myself to if I'm lucky enough at some point, because it looks amazing. They do all there's like Blondie, maybe there's even a Popeye in there in the parody. Yeah, I don't think they ever reprinted the Sunday supplement section from that I'm aware of. Now for the main event.
Oh, here we go.
Dun 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 dun.
The Tijuana Bibles, baby.
Dun, dun.
Awesome.
I don't know how much I can show.
You can show whatever the fuck you want
without YouTube categorizing me as a pornographer or something and nuking this channel. We'll see.
I don't know.
I'll start reading them.
Okay.
So there's actually 3 Popeye themed strips.
I remember my father, he didn't know the term Tijuana Bible, but I remember my father telling me about these when I was a little kid. He didn't say go into details. Like they made dirty ones of these when I was a little kid. You find these little dirty ones. And then even I got just older, probably not old enough. He's like, you'd see Popeye's big old pecker coming out. I'm like, oh, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, they were also known as bluesies.
Like
this is a collection. It's called Tijuana Bibles, Art and Wit in America's Forbidden Funnies, 1930s to 1950s. There's an
cool
introductory essay by Art Spiegelman. That's really good.
Really? Oh, that sounds great. How much?
Yeah.
Did you just get this?
No, I've had it. When I shortly after I moved to Victoria from Calgary.
Is it still available out there? Or?
Oh, it's not in print anymore. I was just lucky that at the time I moved to Victoria to go to university, and I was in the campus bookstore one day, and in their graphic novel section, they had this.
That's how they flag who the pervert students are.
It was funny because then I made friends with a kid in film class, and then I went back to his dorm room, and he had a copy as well. It's like, yeah, Tijuana Bibles.
And then you both dropped your pants.
Yeah.
Off.
Okay, yeah, you got me. But yeah, it was the talk. It was all the rage of UVic campus in 2005. Yeah, I don't know. You can look it up on
I just
eBay.
Found it. I can get it. Yep.
Yeah, well, I highly recommend it because it's a really well done collection. Like I said,
there's actually 2.
Is there? Okay.
There's
I have
bunch.
Another one. I have one from the 70s called Sex Comics Classics that I got at a used bookstore.
Okay, there's the one you have. There's one also called the Tijuana Bibles, America's Forgotten Comic Strips, Book 1. Then Tijuana Bibles, an American Phenomena, Kindle edition, and an Amazon Music one. Who knows?
Okay. Audio erotica.
Well, I'm going to order this one so I have something to read on the plane coming up to Vancouver in a week.
That's awesome.
I'm going to overnight this.
Yeah. So the essay is really good. It explains how like guys would go around selling these, in their trench coats at like auto shops and where mechanics were working and stuff like that.
Mechanics, because there's nothing mechanics like more than watching Fritzy Ritz get slammed from behind by Slugger.
So, like I said, there's 3 Popeye themed ones. The first one is J. Wellington Wimpy in Back to His First Love. And yeah.
Does he fuck a hamburger?
The first panel is two women. One
I
with
just bought this, by the way.
Yeah. Say, look at us, or me. I'm helping out.
Look at this.
This fine publication. First panel is two women nude, one with a gigantic dildo, strap-on dildo. They're talking about, let's see, if you think I'm going to stay in all day and fuck you with this rubber dick or rubber prick, sorry, you're nuts. I'm going out. I'm going to get dressed and go out. Oh, Minnie, my cunt's on fire. I'm going to stick my head out the window and call in the first man I see. And then the second panel, Wimpy's at the window. I beg pardon? Oh, sir, won't you please come in for a little while? I'm in a lot of trouble. Please. Third panel. Oh, please, sir. You'll think I'm terrible, but you're so big and handsome, and I need a fuck so bad. Take off your clothes and be good to me. And Wimpy says, you're breaking my heart, lady. I'll do it. And then he fucks her. And then in the last panel, it looks like he's having sex with, I think the women lived in a boarding house, it's a brothel, I believe, and Wimpy's eating a hamburger and doing the madam from behind. So here's some.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can barely make it out.
Yeah, if you hold it here, but yes, I don't want to show too much. Johnny will soon.
So hold on. So hold on a second. So Wimpy is a fucking player.
Oh,
yeah. He gets called into a whorehouse.
Yes.
Begged to fuck one of the sex workers, and ends up fucking taking the madam from behind while having a burger. Fucking
yeah.
Wimpy. Okay, Wimpy should be the next like hip hop fucking icon for gangster rap.
Oh, okay. Now I've read the strip. The woman, it's not a madam. It's the woman next door who's cooking hamburgers.
I see.
And Wimpy smells them. So he leaves the young lady behind to go get the double pleasure of eating a hamburger while having sex with this lady who's making more hamburgers for Wimpy.
Fuck yeah. Wimpy knows what.
Yeah.
Wimpy's fucking, again, Wimpy's got a big old swinging dick. Wimpy does.
Yeah. The OG George Costanza, remember on that episode where he wanted to eat a sandwich and have sex and watch the Yankee game at the same time. The next one, Poop Deck Pappy.
Uh-oh. Is this scat humor?
Oh, it's really crazy. So Poop Deck's got the world's biggest cock is the story here. And okay. Oh, please, you can't get that monstrous thing in me. I can't? Well, I'm going to try anyway, you swivel-assed, gap-cunted bitch. This is the Poop Deck Pappy spiral. You're just a little loose butt. What a ass. Oh, my God. This is, like, you can see, like, our Crumb must have been influenced by this, especially, like, this last panel.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then lastly, we have Olive Oil, assisted by Popeye and Wimpy. So it is what it... Oh, no, it's Poop... Oh, no, it's Popeye. So it's a three-way with Olive, Wimpy, and Popeye.
Ooh.
Yes, it begins with Olive masturbating to a picture of Popeye while Wimpy is peeping in through the window. Here we go. Peeping.
That's
again.
how they caught your peeper. They followed the hamburger wrappers.
Here's a panel where Popeye's eating out Olive. Come up sometime for a duck dinner. You bring the ducks. Which was, of course, one of Popeye's catchphrases, or Wimpy's catchphrases. And then, of course, Popeye's schlong is as big as Poop Deck Pappy's. Wimpy gives...
Is it skinny at the beginning and then rounds out weirdly at like his arms and his leg?
Well, he's been circumcised. Everybody has. And then and Popeye gets a reach around from Wimpy.
Oh, wow. Oh, they're being extended.
Oh yeah. No, we're getting
hello.
We get it all here. It's equal opportunity.
I cannot wait. It's going to arrive at my house in just a week.
Wow. So you got it from Amazon?
Yes. I mean, look,
wow.
I'm not proud of myself.
Oh, well.
Oh no, it's gonna arrive June 2nd to June 1st. I hope it arrives on my birthday.
There you go.
I just gave myself a birthday present. Thanks, Kelly.
Perfect birthday present. You're welcome.
Oh my god.
So yeah,
I should buy a copy and send it to my father for his birthday.
There you go.
He'd love
Everybody, you get a Tijuana Bible. You get a Tijuana Bible.
I tell you what, my 86-year-old father would adore a collection of these.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's really good. It's curated. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's really good. Okay, we got a big bursting sack of mail to get to.
Mail. I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
Okay. When I get this Tijuana Bible, I'll have a big bursting sack.
Yes, probably will, because there are some lesbian strips in there. Just
you know what I like.
I know. I know Johnny's got a weakness for that.
This is Skittery Bapty the Sisters of Sappho. He likes them.
Oh Christ! I'm not trying to talk for clapping. I'm trying to talk for you guys. You better start thinking. It's getting to be goddamn ridiculous.
It is, John. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous how much mail we have this week, Johnny.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. We have a new contributor.
Let's start with him.
Okay.
You notice I say him because
yes. Yeah. No. Unfortunately, no female. I'm assuming the Duke is a man, but we have not met. I've never seen him in public or anything or on a picture. So maybe. Okay. Sean, our friend Sean from Vancouver.
Okay.
Longtime guest on Mystery Titan Theater. You'll be seeing him on Friday.
Yeah.
And Friday and Saturday too, probably.
Our legal
definitely
counsel.
Saturday. Yeah, the resident lawyer for Mystery Titans Theater. So he contributed a short little missive on ProWrestlingOnly.com. And the previous episode we did on the Fantastic Four was the first episode Sean has watched. Shame on you, Sean, for not joining the fun from day one, but we forgive you. You're now addicted, and we'll be watching all episodes going forward, I'm sure.
I'll be quizzing you in a week.
There you go. So he says, I watched this past episode and greatly enjoyed it. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks,
and
man.
he says he has an idea for an episode with a wink emoji.
Oh boy.
And he says he's already told me about it. But he'll remind me in the coming days.
Oh, that's him?
Yeah, Sean.
I had no idea that Sean was Shrike on PWO.
Yes, Shrike 02.
I had no idea that was Sean all these years.
Yeah, well, he doesn't post. He doesn't post that often. But that's how we first met. He contacted me. He DM'd me on PWO.
I knew that. I never put that together. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and yeah. So
I was wondering why this just
familiar.
Was being mysterious with you. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I know. So anyway, mystery solved. I don't know. I can't remember what he's referring to for the idea for an episode. It may have been maybe Prince Valiant. Actually, it maybe is Prince Valiant because he's a huge Prince Valiant fan, and there's a Prince Valiant movie from the 50s with James.
Okay, leave it to Sean to pick the cartoon character that I never read, skipped over because Prince Valiant was boring.
Well, I guess Sean's not going to be watching any future episodes. I mean, I've read some. The art is amazing.
The art was amazing. I never gave a flying fuck about because Prince Valiant was still being printed when I was reading the comics as a kid.
Oh yeah,
I think it still is.
I'm not sure about that, but it went on for a long time. Yes, Hal Foster, born and raised in Canada. Yeah, great artist. But yes, it was for adults. Really, this was back when the comics were for everybody, and this was not a comic, a funny strip. Anyway. going
Just
back.
want us to do Mary Worth next. Come on.
Yeah, he'll do.
Get your
he'll
fucking
do
shit together.
The trilogy: Prince Valiant, Mary Worth, and Rex Morgan.
And Rex
MD.
Morgan MD. Oh no! Well, we're gonna do it. I briefly got into a storyline on Apartment 3G when I was like 9. I think.
Okay, I that's one I know the reference, but yeah, I don't have too much experience with that one. But yes, another serious strip. Back to pro wrestling only for Duke's
Here we
usual long missive. Not too long this time.
go.
But
Hey, no, as long as you want, Duke. This is your segment.
yes. So here we go. If anybody is new here to view the GWE results or is an old poster returning to see how the poll went this decade,
Nice.
I highly recommend taking a few minutes out of your day, well, more than a few minutes, out of your day to check out this awesome work from Kelly or from Johnny and Kelly. This was another great
Duke.
episode, guys.
Thanks,
yeah,
buddy.
I know. Duke is making us sound like the greatest thing on the internet.
No, he's taking. He knows there's a bunch of
we are.
fucking new nudniks at PWO.
Yeah.
They're gonna be floating around there for about a month. He's reaching out trying to boost our viewership. You're the man, Duke.
Yeah, great, Duke. Thank you. I had no idea that subscription comics used to arrive in the mail folded. Remember, we were talking about this with the Fantastic Four last time. I'm guessing my local comic shops probably don't buy them in that condition since I don't recall seeing comics with huge creases in the middle. Like I said, I got that Fantastic Four number 100 from a comic shop. But yeah, you don't see them too often, but that's definitely what it was.
I used to occasionally get the old, you'd be at a used bookstore or had a magazine store where the guys would, if they sent, they'd have to slice off the top of the front cover and send it in to prove that they, but then they'd sell them for a dime. And they'd use a razor blade. So often half the comic was like ribbons.
Also, cut
on the top. But but when I was a kid, I'd pick up tons of those.
Yeah. Sometimes they would take off the title. Sometimes they'd take off the whole cover. It was so that they could get reimbursed or get credit.
Right, but also then, on the side, make an extra couple of bucks.
Yes.
And they were never
unsavory ones. Yes.
They were always in a sleazy place, but every now and then I'm in like a weird bookstore. I'm like, oh, look at this.
Yeah. And so Duke continues, I'm pretty sure I must have seen the 60s Fantastic Four cartoon on TV at some point because the song sounds familiar. I thought I had rented it, but can't find any 80s VH tapes of it online, so it must not have been available on VHS. Yeah, I don't remember seeing it on tape in the when I was a kid, but there were tapes of Spider-Woman cartoon. He mentions this coming up, Spider-Woman cartoon, Hulk and stuff like that for sure. He also remembers Herbie the Robot, Fantastic Four on VHS. So he did remember. So the 70s Fantastic Four was on VHS. Thinking as a young child that there must be some episode I missed where something happened to the Human Torch, like he was kidnapped or lost his powers. If only that happened. The Spider-Woman cartoon, I believe, also had a VHS tape, like I said. And now at the end here, if you do a Rocket Robin Hood, you should make Johnny watch that episode that had the script and some of the animation reused in the 60s Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh, wow.
I think I know what he's referring to. The Ralph Bakshi ones where there's like green-skinned characters.
I know I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then some, I think, aliens and stuff. Anyway, Rocket Robin
Ones
Hood,
I didn't like as a kid. I thought they were weird.
Yeah. Well, they definitely were weird. Rocket Robin Hood was a Canadian only cartoon, whereas the Hercules one that I referenced from around the same time was made. No, the voices were done in Canada. The animation was done in America, and it aired in both Canada and America. And then the Spider-Man voices were also Canadian, I think, mostly, and were the same on Hercules and Rocket Robin Hood. I could be getting this wrong, but there's a connection between all three of them. And we're going to do, with Canada Day coming up, we'll do I think a Canadian cartoon themed episode. And Johnny will just return from Canada, and it'll be a good old fun time. So stuff
I have never seen. Yet I will do extensive research.
Yeah, exactly. And then also on YouTube, Duke had a comment.
Oh yeah, Duke's double dipping.
Yep, he usually
DDD, double dipping Duke.
does. And on YouTube, he said, the only Herbie I need is Herbie rides again / Herbie goes to Monte Carlo / Herbie goes bananas. Yeah.
What about just the love bug, the one, the good one?
Yeah. Those were on TV all the time.
Again, those were the epitome of like, it's a wonderful world of Disney. Please be a cartoon. Please be a cartoon.
Yeah.
Herbie goes Puerto Rican. Oh,
yeah. And a lot of Shaggy dogs.
Shaggy dog. Well, Shaggy dog, I appreciated.
Yeah, I did too. I liked because it was like the Wolfman.
There was some fucking dregs.
The transformation stuff. Okay, and now to our good buddy Travis, who had actually 2 comments on YouTube. One from the Fantastic Four, and then one, I guess he must have rewatched the Mad episode we did because he randomly commented on that.
Okay.
The other day. So
I love the idea that he is like re-watching us.
Oh, I think he falls to sleep watching old Mystery Titans Theater.
I knew that
episodes and now old fantasy masterpieces. So he says, as an FF comic miniseries I really enjoyed was Unstable Molecules from 2003. Did you ever read that, Johnny?
It rings a bell. Is this the one like what if it all went wrong?
Well, it's what if the Fantastic Four comic book was based on real people, and the real people are complicated, messy, and it's really, really good. You may want to reopen that Amazon tab and order that one because it's. I think you'd love it.
One purchase per show.
Yeah,
pal.
yeah. I think you'd love it. I don't have a physical copy of it. I read it on Marvel Unlimited. Maybe actually Travis probably has it because I think he still has all his comics from that era.
Well, shit. Let's fucking. I'm gonna be up there. I'll just steal it from him.
Maybe he can hook you up. It's really good. Also, I remember going to a birthday party at a very young age where they played a video that had the 78 FF cartoon and a Spider-Woman ep as well. The Thing made a joke about having to miss Spider-Man cartoons because of their superhero duties, and I thought it was hilarious. Finally, pleased to say
that explains a lot because
it's funny. He can remember what happened at a birthday party when he was a kid down to the specific dialogue from the video, but he can't remember things that happened 2 hours ago. Oh well, that's what marijuana will do to your brain after.
I mean, he doesn't remember. I mean, this show right now we're at 216. He doesn't remember starting listening to this show.
No,
as we speak. Oh, by the way,
we love you, Travis.
I love you, Travis. Even if I didn't want to mention it, but hey, what the fuck? I mean, I do know that you're a Popeye fan as well. He's never really talked about it all that much. But the last time I was up there, 4 years ago, was it 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years in the fall.
4 years ago, his phone rang and his ringtone is "You're a sap, Mr. Jap." I'm like, oh, he's a big Popeye fan.
There you go. You were able to salvage that joke.
I had to. I had much like Popeye salvaging things from the sea. I had to figure out a way to get that in there.
Brilliant. That only comes from years of podcasting and YouTubing and all that.
Oh, it's giving out there. I had some plans to do that, but it's not a bad joke. I need to get it back in there.
And then finally, Travis mentions, finally pleased to say the entire run of Rocket Robin Hood is on YouTube. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That and Max, the 2,000-year-old mouse. We've been talking about this for a while.
He comes up a lot.
Yeah, because they were at the end. Those were played at the end of Spider-Man and Rocket Robin Hood in Canada, the 2,000-year-old mouse cartoons. So we'll probably dip into one of those or a few of those because they're only like a couple minutes long each. And then he suggests the CanCon episode that, yes, we are going to do. And then lastly, he had a comment about, it was from the Mad episode. No, not this one. This one. And I think it was a point of right. Stanley Donen directed Charade, but it was a real Hitchcock type movie. Do you remember we talked about that?
No.
I know we did. I don't. Remember.
Yeah, it's hazy. Yeah.
I can't remember the context of why.
Oh,
we were
no.
talking about that.
It was what was being spoofed in that Mad magazine that
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The one I got
yeah.
in New Hope, Pennsylvania,
yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So thank you, Travis. Travis is a huge Hitchcock fan, as am I. And yeah, that's cool. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for contributing this week. And yeah, so next time, we discussed this before we started recording. We're going to go to the feminine side of things.
Yeah, it's been a fucking sausage party here for a while. It's time
too long until the Tijuana Bibles got
even that big sausages right
so
there.
we gotta make up for that with some positive feminine representation. We're gonna do a Wonder Woman. So that, of course,
the world is waiting for you.
Great. That's going to be a contender for best song that we've listened to so far.
At some point, we're going to do a special show, just looking back on the last year, and we'll do an award show. We're going to do best theme song for TV show that made you fall asleep when you were little.
Okay.
Because everything about these is the theme songs. Or just best theme songs in general. Fantastic Four, it slaps. It's up there. Wonder Woman, one of the greats. You got a bunch. Superman, really good.
Yeah. No, I've been saving the best ones in a file on my desktop of my laptop.
The Archies alone have at least two fucking knockout hits.
The Mr. Magoo theme from the first
Mr. Magoo.
That was an awesome theme. So yeah, I think we'll do like a countdown or something, a top 10 countdown at some point. So that's about it. The next episode will drop a week later than usual to get back on the regular schedule.
Well, between Mystery Titans Theater and me going up and hang out with the boys in Vancouver next week, it's gonna be 3 weeks, and then we'll be back on the regular schedule.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We'll report back all the highlights from Johnny's trip to Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
it'll be. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun. All right, so everybody, one last time, we'll bring.
I'm gonna come back with anchors tattooed on both my forearms.
We can do that for you. Actually,
I'm not kidding. I just might do that.
Yeah, there's a tattoo shop right next to the vintage shop in Chilliwack, and we're friendly with them. We could probably get you a deal on it. But, maybe you'll have to come to Chilliwack. We'll see. Okay, next time, Wonder Woman on Fantasy Masterpieces, and one last time, let's sing along with Popeye.
Here we go.
Along with me, everybody. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. Popeye the Sailor Man.
I am what I am, and that's all what I am. Popeye the Sailor Man. One tough gazookas, what hates all palookas, what ate on the ups and square. I biffs them and puffs them and always outroughs them, and none of them gets nowhere. If anyone dashes to risks me fists is puffin', it's wham, understand. So keep good behavior, it's your one lifesaver with Popeye the Sailor Man.
Later, everybody.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.